Hello everybody, this is our Prophet for God One, coming at you with another brief and detailed video. Today I want to go over the verse that I quoted on the video with Jesus DiCaprio, and I'm going to go over John chapter 4 verses 22, and this is just going to be a recap on what I was talking about of how the Hebrew Israelites will use this verse to try to misinterpretate or confuse people to make people think that salvation only came for the Jews, and I'm gonna go over this verse, and then I'm gonna break down John 4:22, and I'm gonna break down and tell you what Jesus really meant by saying this in this verse here, and which the Hebrew Israelites they misinterpretate this verse, and they said salvation is for the Jews. And I kept hearing that all over and over again. Even on E's video, I heard this verse being misinterpreted by Jesus DiCaprio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down this verse in verse 22, and I'm going to show you the details of what Jesus was talking about. And I'm going to read from verse, I'm going to read John chapter 4, and I'm going to read 21, and I'm going to start off with 21, then I'm going to read 22. And this is Jesus talking to the woman at Samaria when Jesus came to her for a cup of water, asking her for water. But Jesus also told her about her struggles and what she was doing. And in this particular verse, it talks about numerous of things, but it also breaks down in verse 22 is talking about salvation is of the Jews. Now, let's read this here for a minute. Let's break this down for a minute. It says, Jesus said unto her, Woman, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain, nor yet at Jerusalem, worship the Father. Now let me read verses 22. It says that ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Now, if you look down at the second paragraph of 22, you're going to notice something that the Hebrew Israelites are quoting. They say salvation is for the Jews. Now, nowhere on this verse, this particular verse, does it say that salvation is for the Jews or only for the Jews. Nowhere on this verse. Now, let's look at the second paragraph. I'm going to highlight this for a minute. Highlight this in blue because I can do this on my phone here for a minute. Okay, let's see if I can hide. Okay. Now, I'm going to highlight this whole entire verse. Okay, now we're going to focus on this verse here. It says, for salvation is of the Jews. Now I'm going to read it again. For salvation is of the Jews. For salvation is of the Jews. Now let me ask people a question. Now, what's wrong with this verse? What's wrong with this verse? What's wrong? What's missing? What the Hebrew Israelites are saying? What is missing? What the Hebrew Israelites are saying? What is missing? Because you hear them say salvation is for the Jews. Salvation is for the Jews. It's only for the Jews. It's for the Jews. No, it's not. It's not for the Jews. It didn't never say that it was for the Jews or only for the Jews. Now, this right here, in this verse here, you're going to notice it says the word of instead of for. I'm going to highlight that for a minute because I want people to see this. I'm going to highlight this in pink. Actually, yellow. Now, if you look at this here, for salvation is of the Jews. It doesn't say for. Do you see the word for? For means only. For means only. Means only. Just like I said, when they had segregation back in the day, it was a white bathroom, it was a black bathroom. It was only for the whites. It was only for the whites. It was only for the whites. For means only. Now, if you look at the word of means from. Of means from. That means he came from somewhere. For salvation came from from the Jews, or of the Jews, from the Jews. It means from. It never said for. It didn't say for. We don't see that here. We don't see that it's for the Jews. It came of the Jews. What was Jesus talking about in this verse? What was he actually talking about when he said salvation is of the Jews? That means he came from the Jews. That means Jesus was born through the lineage of the Jews. He was born from the tribe of Judah, not from the tribe of Levi, as everybody would think that where Jesus would actually come from, because Levi were considered as priests. They were priests, but Jesus didn't come through that. He came through the lineage of Judah. Now, which I'm about ready to show you a verse that's going to match. It's going to match exactly what Jesus was talking about. For salvation is of the Jews. That means it came from the Jews. It came through the Jews. It came through somewhere. Jesus came through the line and the lineage of Judah, the seed of David. Now, let's go back. Let's go to Matthew chapter 1. I'm about ready to show you. This is just a nugget for today. A nugget for today. This is just a nugget for today. Let's go to Matthew chapter 1. Let's see if this matches what Jesus is saying. Okay. Now I'm gonna highlight this whole verse here. I'm gonna highlight this in blue because I want everybody to see this. I might even because I really don't feel like reading today, man. But if I read this, I mean, 14 different generations. Now, if I highlight this in blue, everybody gonna see this. This is what Jesus is talking about, the lineage. And from verse number 1, it says, okay, I'm gonna read. I'm only gonna read verse number 1 for a minute. Y'all more than welcome to go down to the through this scripture and read, because this is where Jesus come from. He came through the line of Judah, the lineage of Judah. And then I'm gonna read verse 17 for a minute. And it says this: so all the generations of Abraham to David, he was the seed of David, and 14 generations, and from David until the carrying away unto Babylon are 14 generations, and from the carrying away into Babylon unto Christ are 14 generations. That means he came to 14 different generations. 14 different generations. And these are the generations where Jesus come from. That's why he said salvation is of the Jews. I mean, it came through the Jews. It came from the Jews. That means Jesus was born into a Jewish custom, but he was also born in the lineage of the Jews, and he was born from the lineage of the tribe of Judah. There was 12 different tribes, but this tribe right here, you would think that Jesus would come through the lineage of the Levites, because the Levites were considered priests. They were considered priests. But no, Jesus came through the lineage of Judah, and he was also and he was also considered as a Nazarite. He was a Nazarite. But the tribe of Judah, this is where he come from. So if you want to read this verse and go down all over the lineage of the people that Jesus came through, you see the names, and Boaz and Ruth and all those people that Jesus came through. It's also written in the Old Testament. This is all lining up what I'm saying, on what John 4:22 says. He didn't come for the Jews. He came of the Jews. He came from the lineage and the tribe of Judah. So this is where I'm about ready. This is what I'm showing you, and this is going to be just a recap of the verse. Just a recap. Let's go back to John chapter 4 for a minute. So now you're able to understand where the Hebrew Israelites is getting this false doctrine or misinterpreting the scriptures. And these people preaches that salvation is for the Jews. Nowhere in the Bible do you see that. I don't even see that. Just like they say Christianity is a pagan religion. Nowhere in the Bible are you going to see that. Nowhere in the Bible. If that's the case, show it to me in Scripture, and show me where it said that that Peter and Paul disagreed with Christianity. Nowhere in the Bible you're gonna find that. But anyway, that's all I got to say. And John chapter 4 and 22. If you read it, go back and read it. Do your research and see if I'm right, because I know I said what I'm saying is right. Because nowhere in the Bible you're gonna see that salvation only came for the Jews. That's a misinterpretation of the scriptures. But anyways, YouTube, Twitter, have a blessed day.